Welcome to the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast, brought to you by the Arkansas Cattlemen's Association. Here, we dive into the heart of Arkansas's cattle industry, where legislation, education, advocacy, and development come together to support the hardworking cattle producers of the natural state. Whether you're in the pasture or on the road, this is your connection to the people, policies, and programs shaping the future of our industry. Hello, welcome to the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast. I'm your co-host, Michelle Buffkin-Horton.
And I'm your other co-host, Morley Townsend.
And welcome back. I feel like it's been a minute since we've done a podcast. I'll also point out, if you're watching this online, I'll point out the obvious, that you may notice there's not a big cowhide behind us. There's not a cowhide on the desk. The room looks a little bit empty. We are in the process of moving offices to a new location downtown Little Rock, and so we have started packing. Haven't finished yet, but we started packing, and so we don't have a hat of the podcast. We don't have the cowhide, so it looks a little bit empty in here. But this will be the last podcast we record in this room. Knock on wood. So next one will be in our new studio.
Yep.
But we've been, we haven't recorded a podcast because we've been on the road this entire month, it feels like, for area conferences. So that's actually what we're going to talk about this week on the podcast is our area conferences. And we have this with us, this podcast episode. I almost said like this morning, but you might not listen to it in the morning, and that's a hard thing for me to remember. But we have with us Michael Watkins of Watkins Cattle Company and Preferred Livestock Products joining us this episode. We're really excited to have you. Thank you for being here, Michael.
You bet. Thank you.
Of course. We're gonna hop right in, and so for those of us who may not know you, will you tell us about yourself and how you got started in the cattle business?
Well, I grew up in the cattle business, kind of a diversified agriculture product operation. Just south of Harrison, Arkansas, we had cow calf, stocker backgrounder. We had a lay-in house business. We had a commercial custom hay baling business, and I kind of grew up in that. And then as I got out of college, I started in the industry, and I worked most of my career in animal health or animal nutrition. And then as we got more, my wife and I started our actual cattle business in 2001. And so I've kind of had everything in my background's all been animal agriculture.
Yeah, and a fairly expansive side of agriculture,
Yes,
all
ma'am.
of it.
Yes. Who would have thought?
But you're able to narrow it down, I feel like, into what you like now.
Yes.
I don't know that you do custom hay anymore.
No,
Nope.
we don't. No, we don't.
Yeah. So give us an overview of Watkins Cattle Company and what does your operation look like today?
So, like I said, we've been in the commercial business, and then in my career, I spent a lot of time working with different producers, different aspects of the business, all the way from the cow calf stocker background to the feed yards. I spent several years working with packers as well, and then in my career, I actually worked quite a bit outside the United States in U.S. model beef production. So we've kind of always had a probably more progressive leaning into what we were trying to do, but in the commodity business, we're still trying to produce pounds, and we got into the Red Angus seed stock business, I guess, kind of almost by default. We were looking for some genetics that were more heat tolerant, and we're looking for something different. And we decided I run across a buddy of mine that was working for Red Angus, and he told me I should give it a try. And so we bought our first bull and really liked what we were seeing, and then trying to find the cattle that were raised in our country in the South and on fescue, it really was a challenge for us to do that. So we thought we would just we would buy some a few cows and start our own program just for our own self. Well, that was really a struggle as well. The first cow we really found was an entire herd sellout, and so we bought the whole herd, and that's how we got started. And we've kind of been always focused on the commercial cow-calf, that part of the business. And as we developed our, what we've done, we've really tried to focus on cattle that they will perform in our country here in the South.
Yes. Yeah. And along those lines, you're also involved with Preferred Livestock Products. And so how do those two businesses complement each other? But also, what have you learned about or applied for feeding cattle for this part of the country?
So, as I said, in my career, I've worked about half my career in animal nutrition, and the Lane family was actually a customer of the company I was working for, and they decided they were going to sell, and we were really interested in that opportunity because I could see that the delivery system of free choice supplements is getting intake is really a problem, and so I had worked with several of these people, and I grew up in the industry as well. So I really thought we could do it a little different and a little better, and so we bought the company in 2018 and started. We kept what they were doing, but we started developing a lot of products that we could use ourselves, and that our customers, that we would go out and we would talk to people, what they were needing to help them solve their problems, and it evolved into a whole, three like lines of products that really helped us manage between whatever kind of forages you had and whatever kind of production cycle you were in. We could almost address everything. If it was pasture related, that was kind of our forte. Mm-hmm. And then with my industry experience, with all the stuff I've done, it allowed me we're not tied to any one, like vendor. So we were able to glean through and pick the most progressive product in those categories, and then build a product around those. So it really helped us achieve something that was, is kind of hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it provides you a really unique perspective for sure, because you've been on both sides of the coin. I feel like you've been in the nutrition side, but you've also actually literally fed cattle.
Yes.
And so it makes it brings a really unique perspective that a lot of tub-related companies or protein-related companies may not have.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that, the research is out there, but it's the details that you whenever it's your cattle that you're feeding,
yep,
those details start adding up.
Yes.
So speaking of that, what are the biggest lessons you've learned growing a cattle operation and having a livestock related business?
Well, so I grew up, I kind of come of age in the 80s, so it was a pretty tough agricultural time. And so, I guess by default, we kind of grew up, I had Depression era grandparents, and then we went through the 80s, and I kind of, the lessons we kind of learned was to keep our tights, or our belts really tight, and control our spending, and which is always a good idea. But I had to learn as I progressed that the return on investment was more important than how much money I could save. And so labor was a problem, and we're a family operation, both operations. We're family owned and operated, and so we learned to invest our resources into things that might not be the cheapest way to go, but have the best return on investment, and also allowed us to be less labor intensive. Mm-hmm. Because in a family operation, there's only so much labor to spread around. And so, I think that was the biggest. I was in Florida one time with a big dairy down there, and the owner of the dairy, he told me they have a saying in their family: it's efficiency is always in style. And I've always thought about that when I started making decisions after that, because efficiency really is, it's a big economic driver for us in this industry. And as the cost of doing business gets higher, it's going to be more important. We can't just save our way there anymore. We got to make every dollar we spend make money for us. Mm-hmm. In genetics or nutrition or whatever it is, it's all the same.
Yep. And you talked about a family operation, and you've been very open and transparent in the area conferences to talk about the fact that you're on the road all the time. You've been on the road. We're recording this the day of the final area conference, at least 9 days this month, but definitely more than that. And so your family, your wife and your daughters are the ones running the operation while you're gone.
Yes.
And so yeah.
My wife, Latrice, she didn't grow up in the cattle business, but her family did. But she, we got started, and as we started having kids and trying to manage our life, and it became a way for her to. We had to make some decisions early in our marriage about how we were going to do all this, and so she. We decided she would stay home and help take care of the cattle. And as we've grown the business, she's grown with it. I mean, and so like I still do a lot of the stuff like the genetic selection stuff like that. But day-to-day operations, it's been her and my 3 daughters that have done everything. And I make a joke in the meetings, but I've got a picture of them tagging baby calves, and they won't let me do it because my personality, I'm always going, and you have to take your time and do things right, and so it's really been, and they they've all been able to help us. Of course, they're all getting big now. They're all almost grown, so it's like, but yes, we do. We don't employ a lot of people in the cattle business at all. We know the cattle. We're around them all the time. Mm-hmm. Our culling criteria, because I've got a wife and 3 daughters and now 2 grandkids there that, in and out of there, I'm not going to have anything that's not going to be safe for people to be around.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, and we talked about it in the beginning, but you've stepped up this year and you're sponsoring the area conferences, and our president mentioned that, as far as we know, and between the two of us, we've been here for quite a few of these area conferences. You are the only producer to have sponsored the area conference, the only cattle operation to do that. And so why was it important to you, and what have you wanted to impart to producers as you're at these?
Well, as we have developed our seed stock business, we keep track of any new people that come and even look at cattle. And the Arkansas Cattlemen, we've been involved pretty early in once we kind of got going here in the area meetings and the convention as well. And it's been one of the biggest drivers of reaching new people. And because we've been coming to these meetings and I see what's going on, I just felt like that. I'm not against the other companies that have done it. I work for those companies in my career, but I just thought we had a story to tell. And I say in the meeting, I just got on the board of directors of the Red Angus, and the stuff we're doing in the association is really, I think, pretty progressive. And so, talking about our family operation, talking about what Red Angus is doing and where we're going as a breed, I think that it's something we need to get out to the people. And I like a face-to-face interaction, and I think that's the way you reach people, the kind of people like we are in agriculture. We're built on trust, we're built on relationships, we're built on people-to-people business, and I just think that you have to get out there where the like rubber hits the road, I guess.
Yeah, and that actually takes our next question, which was like, what kind of conversations happen at area conferences? And it's that, I think, exactly. Yeah. It's the trust building. It's those introductions, yes, but also the deep dive of like, hey, here's what works for me. Here's what didn't work for me. Both of them can be beneficial. You touched on the Red Angus Association. I want to make sure we talk about that because you are on the board of directors there. But y'all are also doing, one, you've seen a lot of growth within the association. You talk about it at the area conferences. Y'all went from number 10 to number 3.
Yes, ma'am.
The third largest breed association, breed registry in the nation. And so that's a huge jump. Probably, if I had to guess, driven by a lot of the programs that y'all are doing within the Red Angus Association. So what are some of those programs for maybe even commercial cattlemen that may
Yes.
not be a
Well,
breeder.
that
quote,
is one of the things that attracted me so much once I got started in this breed is they do have a commercial focus. Like at our convention every year, we have a whole day that is only commercial cow-calf focused. It's only focused on the people that buy these bulls and buy these females and raising feeder cattle and feeding cattle. And I just think as a breed, we've never lost sight of the fact that how we got here. Because most of the original breeders were all commercial cattlemen and cattlewomen, and so as I'm not. It's not that it's not a comparison. It's just this is our DNA of how we got here, and I'm learning a lot on the board of directors. It's like drinking from a fire hose. I had no idea how big this was or how, but it's. I just feel like that we have really had that focus, and then we had a rebranding of our tag program to Angus Access. And I've been in the Southeast my whole career and my whole life, and we've not been very progressive when it comes to like adapting that stuff like that. But as the value of cattle go up, as the cost of our doing business goes up, we need to, if we're going to have quality cattle, we need to be compensated for that fairly. And this Angus Access deal, it's brand new, but we're opening a lot of doors to different markets that we really have almost been hard to get into for us. And so it's really quickly starting to make a difference in what these cattle are worth. It should be that good cattle are worth whatever good cattle are worth. But these order buyers, they have orders, and they have to fill the orders that they've got. And what we're trying to do is help them, bridge the gap, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and instead of being instead of being certified Angus beef, where it has to be a black hided,
Yep.
Yes, it looks at Angus genetics.
Yes.
But it's more so looking at the quality of cattle.
I'm still learning the process, but it's a USDA verified. It's a process verified. It's we're a third party auditor. They do want it to be 50% Angus genetics, and because these people that are wanting these cattle, they are wanting Angus cattle, and they want that genetic value of an Angus carcass. And so, but in Arkansas, look at how many crossbred cows we had. And I mean, if you look at our bull sale, we sell very few red Angus bulls on the red Angus cows. I mean, it's probably less than 5%.
Yeah.
But lots of Charolais, lots of Brangus, lots of Beefmaster, lots of Angus. But it's a way to create some value, create some maternal into some of these other herds, and they're gentle and they're easy to be around. We really work on heat tolerance and slick haired and good footed, and we try as hard as we can to do all that. And so it's I just think it's a lot of opportunity for us as we go forward. If we're going to succeed in the Southeast, in the cow-calf business, we're going to have to create some value that we can get paid for these cattle as well.
Yep, definitely.
For sure. And something that I didn't write questions for, but you said in the Southeast we have a lot of weather issues.
Yes.
And y'all's operation got hit by a tornado. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because that's tough.
Yes. So yeah, it was May of 23, and the Sunday morning Memorial Day weekend, and we got hit by an EF3, and it literally did not miss a single square inch of our place. We are very blessed to have survived it. We were in our house, my wife and two younger daughters. Our oldest daughter, she lives about 20 miles away, but I didn't think we were going to survive. And it was it's really tough to see 30 years of work just wiped off. And it didn't the bad thing is it didn't take it all. It just wiped it off and dumped it right back there. And
so then you have to clean up.
Yes, I mean we were so blessed. In agriculture, people are always good to go help somebody else, and they're not good at taking help. It's a real issue, I guess, so to speak. But I always like to go help somebody else, but having people show up to help, man, it was tough.
Because y'all lost fences.
Oh, we lost everything. We didn't have a single fence that wasn't damaged. We'd have a single. None of our infrastructure was usable at the time. But we had a couple hundred cattle there, and we couldn't even. We didn't have a fence we had to go, like, even our pipe pins, that we had to go find panels and block holes and I'll try to tell you the story, but they people started calling them and you couldn't even get there. My son-in-law and my daughter come up there, and they brought a generator to us. We had to cut our way through to get in there. We had deep freezers full of meat, and it was a mess. And then this neighbors showed up. People started trying to cut out roads, and you couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't go anywhere, and so we started trying to figure out where our cattle were, and we couldn't go anywhere, and we couldn't get our equipment out. Our equipment was so mangled up, and we couldn't move anything. And we finally get them have gentle cattle, because we were able to get a feed truck out. And the day after the tornado, we started because my wife goes and feeds everything. The Teresa we got everything up but like 5 or 6 calves. I forgot now. And our trailers were all damaged, and it's hard. I put a call out to some people that I needed help moving cattle. I had a neighbor that had a place that her dad had passed away, and she's calling me. She was like, "Listen, if you need it, come use it."
Yep.
And so I got some people to bring trailers, and then people started showing up.
Yep.
And
that's what agriculture is, though. It does. They show up when it's hard. They show up when it's tough, and they don't complain. They're there to help, and I'm sure they were happy to do it, and you would return the favor if it was there.
It's just easier to help somebody else than to be helped.
Oh yeah, it is so much easier to be like, "Hey, I'm going to help you," instead of asking for help. Yeah. I feel like we could all relate to that in a very deep level.
Yes.
But it's been almost 2 years, and we are still rebuilding. I mean, it will take us a while to get.
Yep.
But we were so lucky. Like my son-in-law, they got a logging business and an excavating business, and he just moved up there, and we couldn't. I mean, the area was so overwhelmed by how bad the destruction was. There was not enough people to do all the work.
Yeah.
And the stuff we had was so big, we couldn't move any of it. And he come up there, and he spent about 7 months up there. Just every moment he had extra, he'd come and worked. And I couldn't. I mean, Russell would be there at daylight and leave it dark. Just, So.
Yep. And I mean, looking back, like, obviously all of that is a lot of work and time and money and commitment, but it really truly is a blessing that y'all even are here and being able to share that. And so we're very grateful for it. It's a scary time while you're living in it, and then you walk out and you're like, oh, okay, now the work starts.
Yeah. And you don't even know where to start. That's the bad thing. You don't even know where. You got that much destruction. Like, these people have these fires about that. I mean, I just have a new appreciation. I mean, I always, you feel for them, but when you go through something like that, I don't know. I'll never be the same, because it really is different.
Yep.
And we continue to have. I mean, we had like the Cattlemen's Livestock auction there, and the Harrison, they called us and let us move our sale up there, but we couldn't have the sale at the house. And this what you're right. Agriculture is helping other people out.
Yep.
And y'all were able to have y'all's production sale in October. Yeah, that was
May to October. It's not that long.
No.
So
not at all.
Yeah.
And our cattle. I mean, and you consider what we went through. Our cattle performed. We pretty much lost all the infrastructure we had. So, I mean, the fact that we had a sale on our normal time, and I think it was a testament to what we're trying to produce. So.
Yep.
Very true.
For sure. Switching gears a hair, so you, with Preferred Livestock Products, y'all are also sponsoring the Top Hand Award, which is the Cattlemen's Membership Recruitment Award. And I remember 4 years ago, I believe, 3 years, whenever we started this partnership, the years run together at this point, it feels like. But you came to me and you said, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. How can we get involved? Why is that sponsorship so important to you?
Well, you put me on a long list at that time, because I asked you before that, but I'll just tell you, I mean, nothing is perfect, okay? Lots of people will have lots of stuff to say about, different organizations. None of us are perfect, okay? But I do feel like the Cattlemen's Association, the sole focus of the Cattlemen's is the cattle industry, and y'all's is us in Arkansas. And so I just feel like if we don't get membership and we don't get people involved, the population in agriculture and in cattle producers is not getting bigger. And so we have to make sure our voice is heard. And I just couldn't think of a better way for us to give back than to help with the membership. And we are very blessed to be part of it. We try to do all we can to help. Every meeting we do at any of the county cattlemen's, we always talk about it. And I just think there's lots of things we can do to help with the cattlemen's, right? But I just felt like this is something that would fit kind of what we do, and it fit what we could do as a family-owned business. And it's been a good partnership for us. We really think it's been a good deal for us, not because of what we got back from it, but because of what we're able to see. It's like what you guys have gone through the last few years. I mean, if we don't keep membership up, nothing else works.
Yep, 100%. We talk about it at all the area conferences, but we are completely funded by our member dues.
Yes.
And so it makes it, this partnership and this sponsorship allows us to give incentives and give prizes to people that go out and recruit members. And so if you don't know, if you recruit 15 new members or 30 renewed members, you're eligible to win, or you can win your choice of, let me phrase that correctly, you can win your choice of a belt buckle, a jacket or vest, and or a registration to convention, a partial registration to convention, all made possible by Preferred Livestock, because we're looking at it, we're like, we're spending money on this and being able to provide this to our members, but at some point we did have to look at it and say, hey, maybe let's figure out a way to sponsor this and to provide this. And that's where Preferred stepped in and made it really, really possible. We have a custom belt buckle every year, and so I'm wearing my old one. I don't have the new ones, and so I've got one from 23. I don't even know. 24. But this year's a 2-piece belt buckle, and so each year they get a little bit different, and Randy does a really good job designing them. So you can look at the magazine every month and see what the buckle looks like and what the options are there. But.
Yep. And you kind of mentioned it before, but why do you believe it's important to invest in producer education in local meetings? I know we've talked about it at the area conferences, but...
Well, because I grew up in this industry, and I grew up going to cattlemen's meetings, and it was a social event. You met other cattlemen and other cattlewomen, and you met families that were in a similar situation than what you were. But those meetings growing up was where you went to learn new information, and where you went to learn about how to make your operation better. And I think, from my perspective, what we see a lot of like, it's not so much about the education part of it, and a lot of this stuff in the cattle business you do once or twice, maybe 3 times a year. And so like the people that are in the industry, that's what they do every day, that's all they think about. And so if we can take that expertise and keep it in front of people making decisions in this industry, it helps them make more informed decisions. And so I really feel like that the education part of that, I mean, even when we do a county cattlemen's Preferred Livestock Products, we spend about 85% of that meeting educating on why nutrition is important, what we're trying to accomplish, what it means to them, and then our products are just the way we get it's the vehicle we use to get there. There's lots of ways to get there, but if you don't, it's really easy to get caught up in like how what the price of something is, but like the value of it and what you're trying to accomplish is more important. But if we're not educating people, they don't understand what that means, the difference.
Yep. And I think you've done a really good job of that at area conferences too, because when we started talking about having y'all be the sponsor, I said my biggest piece of feedback that we've received from producers at these meetings is that they don't want to just be sold something. They want to come to area conferences to learn something. And so I think a lot of times when people do county cattlemen's meetings or they do area conferences or whatever it may be, they may say, hey, like here's a price sheet of everything I have. And that's fine and dandy, but it's not what the people are looking for, and it doesn't build that trust. Because I feel like you have the ability through the conversations that you're having to say, hey, here's why the nutrition is important. Here's why genetics are important. And yes, you can use my products, but if you don't, that's fine. Like I'll still answer your questions and I'll still help you. And so you're building that trust. That way somebody can come back later and say, hey, I remember that. Like he didn't just try to sell me something. Like he really wanted me to grow and benefit and help my operation.
At the end of the day, an informed customer makes better decisions. They may not make decisions for your company, but those people stay in business. And so we have to, look at what's going on. We have to keep people in business. And we have to help people that are trying to get into the business as well. The number of young people getting into the industry is not very big. And the learning curve is pretty steep. And so anything we can do to help these people achieve goals, they may be smaller goals at first, but that's how you get to where you are later in life.
Yep.
It's not one big giant leap. It's a whole bunch of little steps. And
And I feel like a lot of times, especially now with social media, like we don't see those little steps, and so people feel like, oh, you just got there. It was overnight success that took 20 years.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and what do they show you on social media? They show you where there's no problems, everything's great. The
highlight reel.
That's not how life is.
No. Not at all.
If they're really working cattle, they got something on them.
Yep. They're struggling. If they have a family business, like it's hard. Like, yeah, and that's I think one of the refreshing things about agriculture is like we do kind of share a little bit more of what my friend calls the real, the struggles that you may have, as opposed to just the highlight reel. To wrap up, what do you think the importance for producers like yourself? Because I do like to remind people, like, yes, you own preferred livestock products, you have the cattle coming. Like you're at the end of the day, like you're a producer, like you're making your living doing this. So, what is the importance of being involved in organizations like the Cattlemen's Association or the Red Angus Association from your standpoint?
Like I said earlier, I think on the membership stuff, I just think that the number of people that we have on our side anymore is dwindling. So I think from perspective of that is we need to be around like people. This is not an easy business. It's a challenge every day. And so if you're around like-minded people that are trying to achieve goals similar, may not be your goals, but similar goals, that fellowship is beneficial for you making good decisions and staying motivated sometimes. Yep. Like you guys have said, the last 2 years, we've really had to learn, like, natural disasters, drought, sickness, those things affect a family operation bigger than you think. And I think these organizations, I don't know that it matters necessarily which one we're in the cattle business. So that's why it's important to us. But I just think that people get too complacent about letting somebody else's voice carry their water for them. And we need as many people as we can to be involved. And I've told, we have a little saying in our family that if you don't like how something's done, then you get involved and change it.
Yep.
Because it's easy to sit back and gripe about what's not being done if you're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think these associations, especially like the Arkansas Cattlemen's, like I said, focus on our cattle business in Arkansas. I think we need as many people as we can involved to help. I mean, the more we have, the more we can do. The more we're able to take different people's perspectives and make it be a better story for our state.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%.
And to wrap up, how can producers connect with you or learn more about Watkins Cattle Company or Preferred Livestock Products?
Well, we do have a website for our Preferred Livestock Products, and we are on Facebook. But you can call us. I mean, we are busy. We do have but we want to talk to people. It's but we do post. I'm not very good at social media. I am like a big chief pad number 2 pencil kind of guy.
Yep.
But my daughters and wife help us a lot with that stuff, and then we have a lady that helps us with some of that stuff as well. And so we see stuff, we do share stuff like that, but we have an ad in the cattle business every month. Our numbers are on there. I will just say, we do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So like these 80, 100-hour weeks, sometimes it has to be a few days to get back to you. Sometimes,
Yep.
it's just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we will get back to you. We're trying as hard as we can. I mean, it's just when you are a family operation, like I said, you wear so many hats. You
Mm-hmm.
just so.
Yeah. And speaking of those hats, we would be remiss if we didn't give the opportunity. When is your production sale this
It's
year?
the second Friday in October, so it's
Okay.
whatever that is, October the 9th, I think.
Sounds-
what it is.
yeah.
But it's always the second Friday in October.
Okay. In Harrison.
Yes.
So
Hopefully,
hopefully at the farm.
maybe.
Fingers crossed, knock
Yeah.
on wood, all the things.
But I'll tell you, the Judy family has been fantastic
Mm-hmm.
to work with us. They have been over backwards to help us. It just we can't thank them enough.
Yep. Yeah, that's a nice barn there too.
Yes, it
So,
is.
works out.
But good people. I mean,
Yep.
this is the best part about agriculture. I mean, I love cows, but we do have good people in agriculture.
Mhm.
It's true.
Yes, and it's hard to. I feel like it's hard to explain to people outside of agriculture. Like they don't understand why we work 80 or 100-hour weeks
Yeah.
all the time. It's like we like cows, but it's the livelihood, it's the people, it's the camaraderie that's there.
Yes, ma'am.
So, perfect. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking time to come in with us today and visit on the way to our next area conference. By the time you listen to this, our area conferences will be wrapped up. You can catch the recap of the area conferences in your May issue of the Arkansas Cattle Business Magazine. Or you can check us out on social media. We have all the area conference coverage on social media as well. If you attended an area conference, thank you. We appreciate it. We're glad we're able to feed you a steak dinner. Those steaks this year we partnered with Wright's Food Center in Glenwood, Arkansas. And so it is a producer member owned grocery store there in Glenwood. And so we're really grateful to be able to work with them to purchase those steaks this year for area conference. And we will be back with podcasts on a more regular basis now that I am back from maternity leave. We'll be kicking off fiscal session in Little Rock here at the Capitol here in a few weeks from when you listen to this. And so we will be bringing you updates from the Capitol with Hats on the Hill. Probably won't be a weekly update because there's just not as much movement in fiscal as there is in the legislative session. But check it out. If you have any questions for us, please reach out. How do they find us? What do they do?
Spotify, YouTube, social media, our newsletter, everywhere.
Yeah. Follow, subscribe, like. We
All the
appreciate
things.
it.
Yeah.
But thank y'all so much. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming in, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks.
This is the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast, your trusted source for all things cattle in the natural state.